I almost lost my memory at 70. Here's how I got my life back. There was a morning, one I'll never forget, when I walked into my kitchen and stood there, staring at the fridge. Not because I was hungry, but because I couldn't remember why I was there. I couldn't remember what day it was, or what I had done the night before, or whether I had already taken my medication. I stood frozen, holding my coffee mug, and whispered aloud to no one. Is this how it starts? Is this the beginning of the end? Welcome back to Elderly Voices. I'm Dr. Eric Bergman. And today, I'm not here in a white coat. I'm here as a 70-year-old man who almost lost his memory and found it again. This is not a lecture. It's a confession. A story of fear, hope, and recovery. If you've ever forgotten a name, lost your train of thought, or felt like your mind was slipping away, you are not alone. And you are not powerless. In this story I'll share the 3 terrifying signs I ignored, what I learned from the edge of cognitive decline, the simple steps I took to reverse the spiral, and how you, too, can reclaim the clarity you thought was gone. Let's begin, not with science, but with truth. The first sign, forgetfulness that felt different. It started with the usual things, forgetting where I parked, misplacing my glasses, forgetting someone's name at the grocery store. At first, I didn't worry. Everyone forgets things. But then I forgot how to make my late wife's banana bread, a recipe I had made by heart every holiday season for over 30 years. I stood in my kitchen holding the bowl of flour, staring at the counter like it had turned to fog. I couldn't remember if it needed baking soda or baking powder. I couldn't remember when to add the eggs. I couldn't even picture the final loaf in my head. And it hit me like a quiet earthquake. This isn't just age. Something is wrong. That night, I lay awake asking myself, is this the start of dementia? Am I disappearing? The second sign, losing words mid-sentence. I've been a teacher, a doctor, a speaker. Words have always been my tools. So when I began fumbling for simple words like appointment or envelope, it shook me to my core. I'd be mid-sentence, speaking to a patient or my daughter, and suddenly the word would vanish. I'd fill the space with or fall silent, or smile and change the subject to cover my panic. It wasn't just embarrassing, it felt like my brain was glitching, like parts of me were dimming. I started avoiding long conversations. I stopped telling stories. I told myself I was just tired, but the truth was, I was afraid of being seen forgetting. The third sign, mood shifts and mental fog. What scared me most was how my personality began to change. I wasn't just forgetful, I was impatient, distracted, detached. I'd walk into rooms and forget why I was there. I'd start reading an article, but stop halfway through because I couldn't stay focused. I stopped answering the phone. I skipped Sunday dinner with friends. Even music, something that always brought me peace, sounded like noise. I was losing not just memory, but meaning. And when my daughter gently asked if I was okay, I looked at her and nearly said, I don't know who I am right now. The breaking point, I keep a small wooden box of memories. Photos, letters, old keepsakes. One morning I opened it, hoping for comfort. But instead, I looked at a black and white photo of me and my wife from 1978, and I couldn't remember where it was taken. I stared at my own smile and felt like I was looking at a stranger. That day, I sat at my desk and made a promise. If there's still time, I will fight for my mind. I will do everything in my power to come back. The plan I created to reclaim my mind. Step 1. Sleeping to heal. I learned that sleep isn't just rest. It's repair. The brain literally flushes toxins during deep sleep. So I committed to a strict sleep schedule. No screens after 9 p.m. Herbal tea and a warm bath before bed. Reading poetry aloud to calm my thoughts. Sleeping 7.5 to 8 hours every single night, no exceptions. Within weeks, my dreams returned, and so did some clarity. Step 2. Eating for brain fuel. I researched and overhauled my diet. I cut processed sugars and white carbs. I ate blueberries, leafy greens, fatty fish, and walnuts every day. I cooked with olive oil, turmeric, garlic, and rosemary, nature's brain boosters. I started treating food as medicine. Every bite became an act of rebuilding. Step 3. Moving with purpose. I walked every morning at sunrise. Not just to move my legs, but to awaken my senses. I added gentle yoga stretches, breathing exercises, simple balance drills to strengthen body-brain coordination. It was hard at first. I felt clumsy, slow. But my body remembered what my brain had forgotten. Motion is memory's best friend. Step 4. Challenging my brain. I downloaded memory apps. I practiced word games. I made it a point to learn something new each week. But more than that, I started telling my life stories again. To my granddaughter. To neighbors. I wrote in a journal. I reread my old medical textbooks out loud. The more I challenged my mind, the more it answered back. Step 5. Reconnecting with others. I realized isolation was feeding my fog. So I reached out, joined a local book club, called an old army buddy every Thursday, volunteered at the community center teaching basic health classes. The conversations, the laughter, the presence of others, they brought light back into the room. And my memory followed the light. The first moment I knew I was healing, it was a Sunday afternoon. My granddaughter asked, "Grandpa, can you tell me again about the day you met Grandma?" And for the first time in months, I didn't hesitate. I remembered the cafe, the song playing in the background, the blue ribbon in her hair. And as I told the story, I saw my granddaughter smile. That day, I didn't just remember my past. I reclaimed it. Final reflection. I almost lost my memory. But in truth, I had stopped living in a way that supported it. When I began caring for my mind, with sleep, food, movement, learning, and connection, it started caring for me again. Your brain is not broken. It's waiting. And I promise you, it remembers how to come back. Our minds are not machines that rust and fade. They are gardens, delicate, living, and capable of blooming again if we tend to them. If you've ever forgotten your way home, or searched your pockets for keys already in your hand, or felt the creeping fear that you're losing something inside you, you are not alone. But more importantly, you are not lost. Cognitive decline may be common, but it is not inevitable. The brain has a beautiful trait called neuroplasticity, the ability to adapt, change, and regenerate even in later life. But it listens. It watches. It responds to how you treat it. So if your mind feels foggy, slow, or scattered, I invite you to pause and ask, am I sleeping deeply? Am I moving daily? Am I fueling my body and brain with real nourishment? Am I learning, stretching, connecting? The answers will not arrive overnight, but they will arrive because your brain is listening, even now, and it wants to heal. So I ask you today, Small Blue Diamond, what part of this story felt familiar to you? Small Blue Diamond, have you felt the fog, the forgetting, the fear? Small Blue Diamond, what small act of care will you give your brain today? Speech Balloon, share your story in the comments. Someone else needs to know they're not alone. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. Because every healthy brain began with one choice: to listen. I'm Dr. Eric Bergman, and this is Elderly Voices. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Until next time, trust the whispers of your mind. They're still guiding you home.